to tell you, Jimmy, we got Amer here, CEO of iTrade. I got to tell you, it's a great guest, Jimmy, because I got to tell you, what he's doing is crazy. You're going to blow your mind, Jimmy, because, you're a smart guy, so you're going to like this kind of stuff.
I'm excited.
But, Jimmy, before we get into it, we always like to find out, how do you become the CEO of a gigantic technology company in the food service space? Like, what do you got to do, right?
How do you build this? How did Amer build this?
Well, he went to Lafayette.
Nice.
You know a little about Lafayette. Julie, did you go to Lafayette? No, you went to Lehigh, right?
Julie went to Lehigh.
Oh, that's right. Lehigh, Lafayette. Big competition. Big competition there.
Actually, the oldest football rivalry, from what I understand.
1746, I understand.
And just not to rub it in, Julie, but Lafayette's beating Lehigh overall.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's something that we have to deal with. Also, Jimmy, MBA Dartmouth.
The Tuck School.
Yep. And then you start going to Deloitte. I know what Braxton is, so I left that off because Deloitte, everybody knows, So he's at Deloitte and he's doing consulting work, right? You know Deloitte, Jimmy, right?
Oh, yeah.
President of ADP in China. Well, but first he was president of ADP, like in America, but then he went to China. And he's doing, and that's big, ADP. I mean, Jimmy, you know what ADP stands for?
When I hear payroll, I think ADP.
Right. Automated data processing or automated data processing?
Data.
What is it, Jimmy?
Data.
Not automatic data processing.
Well,
what do you say? What do you say?
I say data.
What do I say, Jimmy?
You said data.
See, what do you say?
Data.
Data. What do you say, Jimmy?
Data.
You see, I found someone who says the way I say, Jimmy.
And he's wicked smart, so I got to tell you, this is a good win for you, Shatsy.
Jimmy, he worked for ADP. I think he knows how to say the name. When you were at ADP, like events, what did people say you worked?
Just said ADP.
But when someone said, what does the D stand for, what did you say?
So I used to say data, but it's 50-50. Half of the people would say data. I think you can go wrong either way.
All right. But then he went on to president of Yahoo, Jimmy.
I heard of them.
Yahoo.
Yeah,
Yahoo, right? And then he did some other stuff here. There's names I've never even heard of. So I can't, tech comes up there. I can't even tell you what he did. And then he joined iTrade in 2022. Obviously, this guy is one smart MF. Am I right, Jimmy?
Very smart. Very smart.
I'm bringing him in, Jimmy, because he's tired of waiting and he has dinner plans, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, chairman of the board, the CEO of iTrade. Here we go, Amer Akhtar. Welcome to the show. How did we do on that introduction?
Thank you. Great to be here. You guys did great.
Liar. You should see his nose growing, Jimmy. Great to be here. He's like, who made me come to this thing? What am I doing?
First and last time for everything. Listen, Amer.
He's like, I could be at the pool right now, sitting and having a cocktail.
Amer, Shatsy and I love going to conferences. I missed this one, but Shatsy's obviously out there with you. And we like to play kind of word association games. We pick hot topics that we think are going to come up, and we see, how often does the topic that we picked get mentioned in an event. Well, Shatsy and I and the branded team have been leaning in heavily to food safety, and if I dive a little deeper, specifically into food traceability. Traceability has become an important topic for branded. I don't want to say shameless self-promotion, but we made an investment. We've been known as a restaurant tech company. We made our first investment into really a food manufacturer and supply chain company in an investment in Starfish Network, which is a layer zero food traceability company. And again, this was all in response to the FDA's Food Safety Modernization Act, FSMA, as it's called. And
FSMA, Jimmy, 204.
Yes, and the biggest overhaul in food safety laws in decades. And yes, as Shatsy has mentioned, Section 204, which is kicking off, really requires in the supply chain to track certain food from the moment it's harvested until it hits our plate. And again, it's a big deal. It's one of the biggest regulatory changes that we've seen in our industry for years, requiring end-to-end traceability for high-risk foods. And analysts are estimating the cost to be in compliant could run into the millions for larger operations. So here we are. Now we're bringing it back to yourself. What fascinates me, Amer, is that iTrade, while this is, let's say, new to branded, and maybe the regulations are somewhat being thrust upon operators, you guys have been at food traceability and developing solutions for over a decade, over 12 years now. So long before it was mandated. So my question, Amer, can you walk us through kind of how your early investment in this technology is paying off for operators now that food traceability is becoming mission critical? So you guys are ahead of the curve. And here comes the regulations landing on our shores. And you guys have been on that iTrade on this for 12 years. So talk about your early investment in tech and how it's paying off for operators.
Yeah, great question, Jimmy, and you're absolutely right. It's the hot topic. There was, in fact, I'm missing out on a FSMA 204 session to be here, but this is equally important.
I think it's more important. I think it's more important. I think anybody will tell you.
But it's the one thing I did want to correct when Shatsi gave the introduction is he said, I work for iTrade. It's actually iTrade Network. And the reason I stress the network part of it, it's very relevant to this question. So, FSMA 204 traceability is all about sharing data between entities, right? You got to have that. And we have network in our name for a reason. We are the largest network out there. So we've got a network of, it's 4,000 companies between suppliers, manufacturers, retailers, distributors, operators. So we have a tremendous amount of data. That gives us a leg up when we're looking at traceability data. So you're right, we started looking at this 12 years ago. And I'd like to say, and actually we did, we do have this big crystal ball in our office that I
love it.
I
would like to use that crystal ball.
Strategy.
I have some ideas.
But we did, and you can't time these things, right? Because the regulations changed. But we started developing our product suite about a dozen years ago. And then, some of the early adopters became very interested and they became early adopters. But as you know, most folks don't take action unless the regulation's in place, unless they're kind of forced to.
100%.
And that time, as you listed, is coming up very, very shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So as a part of this, and over the last decade, we've been on the GS1 Standards Committee.
What's the GS1 stand for?
It's global standards for food.
Okay.
We're on the PTI, which is Produce Traceability Initiative.
Jimmy, you writing this down, Jimmy? I don't see you writing. No, seriously, Jimmy.
I'm writing. Amer's dropping knowledge.
And you're like sitting there like,
I'm taking notes.
All right, good. We're going to ask you questions later.
Yes.
All right, GS1.
So we're on we're a chair member of the PTI, which is a Produce Traceability Initiative. And then we've got this, over the last few years, we've developed a supplier fast track program because, again, operators, distributors, they're all interested in this. Well, the data comes from the suppliers, right?
Data.
So, data. Thank you for that. Yeah, you got me there. So you've got this supplier fast track program. Because of that, we've already got 400 plus suppliers enabled. And that's been possible because of the time we've been in this. So we understand this, we understand the network, and we have the data across the network. And that is really benefiting our customers right now who are looking at traceability.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, though. I mean, just think about, just recently, the onions and, listeria.
Yeah.
And then I saw McDonald's, and they, stopped selling, quarter pounders or something like that. I mean, it's just, Jimmy, you had mentioned, by the way, you were just talking about this, and you were saying that compliance costs, it will cost, companies in the millions. And I'm not a big fan of legislation that creates more red tape and things like that. But this is an example that the compliance cost, I got to tell you, it's definitely significant. However, if you got to throw out hundreds of millions of pounds, or it's hundreds of millions, it's costing these companies really a lot of money when they don't know what's going on, right? So I think
wastage is one thing, but then just consumer health, right? Food safety, the damage to the brand,
the PR nightmare and the marketing nightmare. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so take that, Jimmy.
I'm agreeing. I find that the costs are obviously significant, but the alternative, if you're caught on the wrong side and you can't isolate it and you can't control, the risks, are substantial. Reputation risk,
but even if nobody gets sick and nobody hears about it, right? Just nobody. You got to throw away hundreds of millions of pounds of something. You know what I mean? It's just garbage. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you're like, oh, we found something. We don't know. You know. Anyway, listen. Let's shift a little bit to get back to, because that's a big. Unless Jimmy, you have more on the traceability.
No, I'm good. I appreciate it. I was excited to ask Amer about that because, again, his company, and I love what he said about the network. We're Branded's big believers in this industry, really, I think in most industries, but this one particularly, the community that we're part of, the ecosystem, or as you said, the network, we call it often a village. The areas of collaboration and cooperation, not just rising tide lifts all boats, but the fact is there is, from when you're thinking about it, from harvesting to the table, from farm to fork, you really do have to share information. You got to collaborate. You can't operate as an island in this industry, and if you do, again, God bless, but I think we subscribe to an idea or a theory that we're far better together working with our peers, and I think that's what you guys are alluding to when you said it's the network effect.
Absolutely.
Jimmy, did you the farm to the fork? Is that your idea?
That was my idea.
Because I like that. I like that. I like farm to fork.
That was mine. That was all mine.
So if you want to use farm to fork, you can. Just
we give it away. We give it away. Sharing is caring.
So Starfish, Jimmy, should Amer be working with Starfish? Are they friends? Are they enemies? What do you think?
No, friends. I mean, the fact is, again,
Did you meet Wiggs here?
No, but Manny told me to meet him actually, so I'm going to go back and.
You got to meet Wiggs, Jimmy. You got to see Wiggs' booth. It's the cutest little booth. He bought sand from I don't know where he bought sand and just put Starfish all over the table because he didn't have time to make anything. It's the most adorable little booth you ever seen. I took pictures. I'll send them to you.
Very nice. I appreciate it.
All right. So Wiggs and Amer, we'll be hanging out tonight then. 100%. Jimmy, I'll have a drink for you. All right. Listen. Let's shift gears a little bit. We're going to go away from this traceability and let's just talk about rebates, okay? Because I know in the food service space, everybody talks about rebates. I got rebates, and if you buy, I got rebates and rebates. And a lot of the operators, they never see the rebate. They hear about the rebates, but they never see the rebates. So let me just talk about that kind of thing about the double dips and the build back claims, things like that. How are you guys helping solve that?
Yeah, so another good question. Another
Julie wrote that question.
Super focused on. The thing with claims, all claims are contractual in nature, right?
Yep.
And what happens is in a contract, levers are triggered, and that's what triggers a claim. Well, if you don't have visibility into the terms of the contract or when and if a lever is triggered, that's highly inefficient. So you're never going to be able to affect that claim.
Right.
So what we do is we have a solution for operators called Spend Insights, essentially, that basically tells them when these levers are triggered, that they have a claim so that they can go and claim that claim. But the second, our other solution, which we call Order Maestro, that's an ordering solution for their end units.
Order Maestro.
So that helps them improve the claims over time.
By the way, that immediately reminds me of Seinfeld when you say Maestro. Am I right, Jimmy? Don't you when you hear Maestro, you go right to Seinfeld, right? You got to call me Maestro, but not in social situations. Right? I'm sorry, I digress.
No, good point. But that product helps operators get more compliant, or their end units get more compliant, and therefore to improve the claims over time. So with both these solutions, we're very good at the contract management, letting them know when a lever's triggered, when to know when there's a claim, and then over time, make sure that anything that's being procured by their end units is being procured on contract. So you take more advantage of rebates.
So I think, Jimmy, from what I'm looking at here, we have breaking news, and I don't even think Amer even knows it's breaking news.
Continue.
All right, breaking news. Oh, Jimmy, breaking news. It is right here live from FSMA. iTrade Network has just launched Trade Spend. Amer was talking about it, but he didn't recognize that's breaking news on the Hospitality Hangout. Jimmy, iTrade Network has just launched Trade Spend solution. It makes sense of this chaos. You see what we did there, Jimmy?
I see what you did there, Shatsy. By the way, you have a way of having people just talk to you. They share their inner thoughts, their deep workings, even their trade secrets. You bring it out of them, Shatsy. Really,
he feels so comfortable sitting with me. He's just like, I'm not even supposed to be talking about this right now. We're almost a publicly traded company.
I think I'm going to hire Shetz to be our PR. You want to be our PR?
100%. I love it. Jimmy, we just got a new gig.
We got a new gig.
Oh, no, we don't have it. I have a new gig. I have a new gig. He doesn't want you, Jimmy. He doesn't want you, Jimmy.
By the way, I agree with him. I wouldn't want me either. Listen, I want to shift gears. I want to play a little supply chain survivor, okay?
You're switching gears after I switch gears?
Well, you switch gears, I switch gears. Touche. You like these gears? All right, here you go. Anyway.
Wait a minute.
We're switching gears again?
I hear some jungle music right now, Jimmy.
Okay, good. Listen, the way we play the game is I'm going to give you 3 supply chain disasters, okay? And you're going to pick one that irritates you the most or would be your worst nightmare among the 3. And then Amer is going to talk about how iTrade's technology would have helped prevent the situation. All right? Are you keeping up, Shatsy?
I think so. I still don't understand the survivor aspect. I don't understand how I'm going to be I understand what we're doing. We're asking and he'll solve one disaster, but on the survivor, I don't understand. I have to talk to Julie about this. I don't understand.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep. Okay. We'll keep playing on. All right. Listen. Here are your 3 supply chain disasters. Supply chain disaster 1: your produce arrives with 50% spoilage. That's big time.
That'd be a disaster.
Okay. So number 2, your critical weekend delivery disappears into the supply chain ether, the void. There's no way to track it. We don't know where it went. Supply chain, your critical weekend delivery. Poof.
I don't have a record of your order, sir. What do you mean? Okay. I have no record of your order, sir.
but I made a reservation. I took the reservation.
Thank you for calling. Our offices are closed. Please try again on Monday.
Okay. Supply chain nightmare number 3. Your suppliers all raise prices simultaneously with no warning.
I swear I told you everything was going up 25%.
Yes.
I'm sure I told you. You didn't get the letter? It was in the mail.
All right. So I gave you 3 choices, Shatsy. What chooses you among the 3, your worst nightmare?
I mean, they're all really just horrible, Jimmy. There's nothing there that I would be happy about as an operator. I'd be angry. I'd be screaming. I'd be cursing. I'd be dropping 4-letter words. But I got to tell you, if my produce arrives, right, and half of it is bad, I'd rather not have anything. Just don't even give it to me. You know what I mean? That would just upset me the most. That would be my survivor disaster.
All right. So I
don't understand what has to do with survivor, but okay.
All right, here we go. iTrade to the rescue.
iTrade Network, Jimmy.
iTrade Network to the rescue. Amer, it's Shatsy upset. His biggest nightmare: produce order arrives 50% spoilage.
Well, I could tell he was going to go for that one because he really had a big problem with throwing away food in one of
and I got to be honest, I'm a big fan of produce.
Produce is good.
Yeah, I like produce. Jimmy, I like produce.
You do? Add a protein. Add a protein to the produce.
So, if the question is what would we do to help prevent that? Well, so we have various technology-based mechanisms.
In all fairness, you wanted me to ask you this question. Now you're making it out like you didn't even know the question was coming. I mean, Jimmy, he's like, just make sure you ask me that question. And now he doesn't even answer the question. You want me to do what I want? I wanted the suppliers raise prices, so we don't ask that one. All right. So you want to? Yeah.
So what we do is we have a supplier scorecard, and with the supplier scorecard, customers, operators, distributors can we help them rank suppliers based on who has the best quality, who is the best on time, consistent delivery. We look at other things like pricing. So they are able to basically rate suppliers. And therefore, if suppliers, they can weed out suppliers that don't perform right to whatever criteria they set. Mm-hmm. So that would help them. If there's suppliers that consistently have spoilage,
you get rid of them.
You're out.
Yeah, because the problem with letting it sit around, probably buying the crappy stuff,
terrible.
Right? Yeah,
get rid of them. Old tomatoes.
Can't have those people. Uh-huh. So basically, you vet all of the people that are you vet all the suppliers.
Yep.
If you have a bad scorecard, you're off the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple.
You're off the team, Jimmy.
Exactly.
See, that's Survivor. You're kicked off the island. There you go. It all came full circle.
Now I understand. It all makes sense, Jimmy. It all makes sense now.
That's how we do it.
All right, listen, we got to jump. Now I understand. So basically, iTrade Network is not going to allow any bad produce to come to your restaurant. Or if very rarely, maybe once in a while, you get a bad potato.
Yeah, listen, bad stuff can happen.
Not under your watch.
No, we give you the tools so that it doesn't happen again.
I was pre-20. When did you start working there?
22.
Pre-22, you could have gotten that, Jimmy. After 22, you could have got a bad case of bananas.
Don't bring a weak game around Amer now.
Yeah, we got to go to customer support line, Jimmy, because I see a customer calling in. Julie, by the way, Brad Hamilton's calling in again. Is that supposed to happen, or is there another one? Because, I mean, does Brad really want to ask the same question? I mean,
No, hold on. I have to.
Or is it Nat from the Peach Pit Diners calling in?
Yeah.
Oh, Nat's calling in? Oh, okay. We got Nat. Jimmy, we got Nat on the line right now.
These references going over pretty good.
Yeah, I understand. No, Jimmy didn't know who Brad Hamilton was.
Jimmy did know who Brad Hamilton was. He said he's an All-American guy.
Yeah, no, I understand. From Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I get it.
Yes.
I didn't get it until Jimmy Venture reminded me. But listen, I got to tell you, Jimmy, I can't. We have Nat right now. Nat Bushicio from the Peach Pit Diner, Jimmy, in Beverly Hills is on the line right now.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember Nat. Nat is still in business, and he said Nat has a question, by the way, and Jimmy and I we have callers now coming in live from the Hangout.
Very nice.
So Nat's also in Beverly Hills, Jimmy. So another three times owner.
Yes.
Yeah, Nat, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Okay, so Nat's on the line. Nat from the Peach Pit Diner in Beverly Hills. Nat says, Nat
sounds like you with a cold.
No. Nat Bushicio. He's an Italian guy. He's had the diner for years. He got it from his father and his grandfather, all diner guys. But Nat says his business exploded since he relaunched the brand, the Peach Pit, and he was thinking about even franchising, but we're not going to get into that right now, Jimmy. But he's struggling with last-minute menu change and special requests, and he needs to be able to source ingredients quickly from alternative suppliers because things are changing all the time. And his regular guys can't deliver. But he's spending hours on the phone trying to find availability and pricing. This is Nat's big problem, Nat's question. Nat, did I get it right? Yes, you did. That was an excellent question. Thank you. So, Amer, so how can iTrade Network help operators like that stay flexible while maintaining their margins? How do you help a guy at the Peach Pit Diner and in Beverly Hills? No, so this is she. He can't afford to have Kim Kardashian coming in there. She can't. She's got a lot of special requests, I'm sure. Right, Jimmy? The Jenners or the Kendall and the Jenners, right?
I understand.
And the Kardashians. They want different things.
Yeah, they like sauce on the side. I understand.
Yeah, they're like, they're not just going to eat the way it is. So how do you help solve that?
Yeah, so we have solutions for that. Not surprisingly,
I don't remember what the question was, but he's got a solution for that's what's great, Jimmy.
Yeah, listen, I get it. You don't want to run out of stuff when you need it the most.
Right.
And you want choices.
Right.
And you want choices at good prices.
And you got pain in the ass customers that have special requests.
Suppliers you can depend on,
yeah.
Right? So that if you want something, that supplier's got what you need. So I referenced this earlier, but we got this solution called Order Maestro for operators. The beauty of that solution is it's not a one.
That's not breaking news, though. You've had that.
Yeah, we've had that. Yeah, well, what's great, I guess none of it's breaking news. We're constantly refining it because we're a SaaS software company. So every month.
Wait a minute. The iTrade spend was not breaking news?
iTrade Networks. Trade spend was
breaking news.
Yeah.
Order Maestro.
Yeah, you got that. Right?
Okay.
Order Maestro's
been around for a while.
Been around.
It's old news.
But it's a mobile solution. It's a desktop-based solution. It's whatever way the operator or the end unit wants to put in orders.
Right.
But the beauty of it is it's not one-to-one. So Nat could have relationships with 5, 6, 7, 8 distributors instead of calling them. And he's got the rules in there too, right? If the price is higher, he goes to that distributor. Distributor X has a volume he needs, so that's his preferred distributor, but then it automatically goes to another distributor if distributor 1 can't fulfill it. So it's not you don't have to be on the phone. You don't have to think about it. The software does the thinking for you, right? The algorithms are there to help Nat when Nat needs the help most. So it's beautiful for exactly the
I
kind
love
of
it. Are you
situation.
guys using AI? If you're not, just say you are.
No, of course we are.
Oh, Jimmy, they're using AI for all
We're a
this stuff.
Silicon Valley-based company.
This is Silicon Valley. Jimmy, did you know this?
I'm learning. I'm paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, this is unbelievable. So, Nat, does that answer your question? I got to tell you, I'm loving what iTrade Network is doing. You're really helping me. You know, Nat, I got to tell you, that's what we're doing over here. I mean, Amer, if you want to come to the beach bit, we've got a great special. Hey, thanks very much. I got to tell you, Nat, this was great. Great question, great time. I got to tell you, that was awesome. I got to tell you, we love having Nat from the Peach Pit. We're getting a lot of famous people on here. All right, listen, Jimbo, is that good? Does that solve your problem there? Because I'm going to the Branded Quickfire right now.
Let's go play the quickfire.
All right, here we go. We're going Branded Quickfire. I don't always give directions. It all depends on where.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But I did have a driver just the other day. I was leaving the office on Park South or Gramercy, whatever. And I got to tell you, Jimmy, they weren't paying attention, man. They were just going the wrong way. And I had to get off. I was on a call, very high level call, Jimmy. I had to get off the call with this high level person to give directions to the Uber driver.
Oh, I'm sure he did it very politely and in a congenial manner.
Like this, like I gotta go. What's that? Hey, this is my Uber driver's taking me to. I gotta get off the phone. Anyway, all right, here we go. I know you gotta go. You have dinner plans. If you were to be stranded on a deserted island or a desert, is it a desert or a deserted island? All right, we'll go with desert. The desert, I don't know about that. All right, you're stranded somewhere. Okay, you're stranded, and it's far away. It's like whatever. It's not in a good place.
I can't Uber or Lyft. No,
there's no Uber. No, you're stranded. And you could either choose Jimmy or I to be stranded with, because who's going to help you survive being stranded? Who do you think would be a better person to be stranded with,
like
Jimmy?
When you ask a mom or dad, which kid do you like better?
Really?
Do I have to choose? Do I have to choose between you two?
No, I mean, you don't have to take either one of us, but I mean, we're just.
But if I had to choose.
Yeah, if you had to choose. Like, who would you rather? Who's bringing more to the table?
I think I might actually choose Jimmy.
Wait a minute, but you thought about something, because I think you said you might actually, but originally you were thinking me.
Well, because you're sitting, here, and I have this proximity bond.
But what do you think? Okay, you're stranded somewhere in Fiji. Where, Jimmy? Where? The Philippines? Where is he stranded? You're stranded somewhere.
Wherever he's stranded, he's thinking.
What's Jimmy's bringing? What is he bringing to the table that you're thinking I'm not?
Well, Jimmy you're
stranded on an island with the pending. There's only the two of you there.
Listen, there's no wrong answer to this, right?
No wrong answer.
In this case, I gotta be honest. I'm not sure you picked the right thing. I wonder what Jimmy's bringing to the table over there.
Jimmy.
He'd be sweating. He would be sweating. He'd be under a coconut tree. I can't. There's no towel. You don't know Jimmy in the heat. You have no idea. Jimmy. It's wrong. Am I right?
Mr. Schatzberg, you protest too much. I think you're just reconfirming Amer's answer.
I think you made my case.
I think you made the case. Look at you getting all defensive. We gotta solve the problem, Shaz. We gotta get Amer and me off the island. You know what? We have so much to do. We gotta get off the island. We'll check in with you later, okay? Amer and I are getting off the island.
Okay, listen, Amer, I gotta tell you, iTrade Network, I gotta tell you, tech company, Silicon Valley, doing stuff that you wouldn't even dream possible to help operators. Jimmy, another example of companies out there solving problems for operators. We missed this one though, Jimmy, because they've been owned by a private equity firm for like 13 years.
We missed it by just that much, but actually, but I love the network. I love what they're doing. I think we can have an exciting we can have. There's lots to do together. So this was this is a little meet cute. Now we can follow up and do stuff.
That's right. I tried to get a meeting with Amer, and he's like, no. Then I'm like, you want to do the podcast? He's like, sure, I'll do that. Yeah. This is the only way I could get him to talk to us.
No.
What is this?
I'm going to talk to your portfolio company.
I was like, do you want to meet for a coffee? He's like, no. I'm like, you want to do the podcast? He's like, I'll do that. I'll do that.
If Jimmy offered coffee, I'd probably take him up.
Well, obviously. And by the way, just so you know, I come to this show, okay? And I don't think Jimmy's ever even been to the show, okay? And I come here, and what's the first thing when I bump into people? They say, Jimmy coming? Where's Jimmy? I don't see Jimmy going to be here. I'm like, you know what, guys? Just for once, why don't you say, Shatsy, it's nice to see you. This is amazing. This is so great. Oh, man, this is great to see you. No. I said, Trevor from Brazil. First thing he said, oh, hey, is Jimmy coming? And I go down and I see Monty from Cut and Dry. Hey, where's Jimmy? What? No, don't laugh, Jimmy. It's not nice.
I'm thinking about Rocky and Paulie. Hey, you ever give your best to me, Paulie? You always say it's out of Rock. How about me?
Yeah, I'm smart. Anyway, Amer, you're making things happen. Really appreciate it, man. We'll see you later, man.
Thank you, man. This is awesome. Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.